Hey guys, so I kind of just want to talk about something. Just decided to start making videos about stuff I think about and stuff I believe in, and just kind of things that have helped me through my life. And I've been through a lot of experiences. I've been through everything from, unfortunately, I've seen people die. I've seen people lose extremities. I've seen people lose family. Um, you know, I've I've done a lot of interesting jobs that have exposed me to stuff that most people shouldn't see. And with my buddy Alex Carpenter passing, I just really started to self-reflect on, where do I see myself, in X amount of years. And I also thought that, hey, Alex was so young and he was full of life, and he was taken in an instant. And for those of you who don't know who Alex Carpenter is, he was a fly by the seat of your pants kind of surfer-looking dude, and he was my best fucking friend. And unfortunately, we lost him this year. It was a very tragic thing, but I think for the people that it affected, it really sunk home because we realized that there was so many people that came out and showed their support for him and showed so much love, and then it was done beautifully, and I think it's how Alex would have wanted it. It was I miss him like crazy, and if you're out there, buddy, I love you with all my heart, and I hope you're in a better place now, and keep living the dream. Um, yeah, no, as far as what I wanted to kind of talk about, I just basically wanted to go off and kind of just ramble more than anything. So, what I'm going to start with kind of first is I think that, whether it be a relationship or a friendship or a family member or an Alex or, something happens in your life, I'm going to base it off relationships because it's kind of the easiest way to approach this topic. But I think that everybody has a book when we start out in life, and each year has a couple chapters in it. Now, by chapters, I mean, like, first kiss, first girlfriend, first girl who cheated on you, whatever it might be. But like, I've had the whole gamut of stuff happen. I've been cheated on. Unfortunately, I've never cheated myself. I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of it, and I'm not interested in making someone feel that shitty. Um, Long story short, it's I think that everybody has a chapter, and when people like, I have a lot of friends who get hung up on stuff, and they really get hung up on, they get hung up on a girl, or they get hung up on a job, or they get hung up on this, or hung up on that. And I think in life that everything has a reason. And I've met people that I've known for 5 minutes that have given me more information and more know-how about my life than people I've known my entire life. Oh, hi, sweetie. This is my dog. Look at the camera. Anyway, she's my rescue silver lab. She's a phenomenal little puppy. Well, she's not a puppy anymore. She's 3 years and she's 110 pounds, but she's losing weight. So, chapters. So, basically a little bit about me. I went through a relationship. I'm single for a while now, and, I'm content with that. I'm an only child. I always work on myself when I'm single, and I'm okay with that. But I'm 28 now, and I realized that, like when I was 21, I was raving a lot. I was going to parties, I was drinking more than I should. I was, experimenting with different substances, to say the least. And it was never up bad or anything. I was always in control. But, like every person does, they want to try something at a party or whatever it is. So I tried some stuff, and, nothing crazy, but, the usual stuff. And I noticed when I got to the age of 25, I think it really hit me, and I think it hits most guys because I had a lot of friends that are just turning 25 right now, and they tell me like, "Hey Colton, like I remember you telling me about this and how everything was going to change." And what I mean by that is, when I got to 25, I realized that for the next 10 years, because I wasn't in a full career yet. Like I was, I've bounced around. I pulled 17 tickets. Like I'm a pretty smart guy. I never went to college or anything, but I'm very, mechanically inclined, and always I'm like a sponge. I know how to build, and I like to absorb everything I can do. Like I do effects makeup. I do, I build guns. I build cars. I used to drift professionally in California. Like I've done some stuff, and I think that the biggest thing that I noticed with turning 25 is I realized, what, the next 10 years of your life until you're 35 are going to be the very most important years of your life as far as a career goes, because you're the most attractive you're going to be to an employer. you're at the right age where you can learn and go up a ladder, whether it be corporate or construction or banking or whatever ladder it is. You have those 10 years to really move up there and get it. And I set goals for myself. I just, my mentality changed. I got out of partying. I just hang out with my dog pretty much. Um, and It's amazing what happened. Like, I thought that, like I said to myself, I'm like, I want to pay off my car. I want to sell my truck and get a nice new truck. I want to buy a house because I was renting. And in Vancouver, BC, it's quite expensive to rent. And I put my nose to the grindstone and I stopped being stupid for a year. And within a year, I was able to save up quite a bit of money. I was able to find a lot more happiness, reconnect with a lot of friends. I was able to buy a condo, a very nice condo. I was able to sell my truck and buy a new truck, and I was ahead in life for the first time. But back to the job thing, like, if most people, I realize that, hey, they're comfortable in their job, or they're comfortable in their relationship, or whatever it is. Life's not about being comfortable, it's about being happy. And I think that a lot of people take that for granted. Whether it be, you're comfortable with your girlfriend, but this other girl comes out of nowhere and you have a fling with her, or maybe you cheat on her, or whatever. People are humans. Give them the fucking decency to break up with them on a Tuesday, and then you can go do whatever you want with the other person on a Wednesday. But at least you give the person the right of way in saying, look, I respect you enough to give you an opinion, and this is how I feel, and I don't want it to work, and there is somebody else, or whatever it might be. But just be honest. Like, we're all humans, and I think we're all supposed to meet certain people in our life, and not everyone's supposed to like you. I made a lot of enemies over the years just because of, I've had success, and I came from a decent family, and, I always had nice things, and I earned them all myself, but jealousy is a horrible bitch. But, I think as far as chapters go in my life, like, I found that, my raving, when I finished that, or my partying, that was the next chapter. When I went out with the girl, and we broke up, that was the next chapter. And it helped me be able to move on right away, and I don't get stuck in a rut of emotion where, I'm still in love with somebody or still like somebody and wondering what if or what that or whatever it is. And I think that's important for you because, if you dwell in the past, you're never going to see the future, and I think it's a very strong saying because you're supposed to have experiences in life. If it's not right, it doesn't mean it's not right. It just means it's not right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now that I'm 28, I was actually working sales before. I got screwed around, so I went back into logging because I've been doing that since I was a kid. I went and worked a cedar mill, and basically I was pushing a pike pole. And if you don't know what it is, it's just basically an aluminum pole with a spike on it, and I was pulling logs around and feeding them into a mill that makes 2x4s and 2x6s and all that stuff. I left working on the tugboats, and I was making extremely good money on there. But I was unhappy. I was working 12 hours a day to 16 hours a day, and it would be week on, week off. So, it's great that you get half the year off, but, you're so tired by Wednesday that you're doing a dangerous job. And, I've seen guys lose their hands. I've seen guys lose their legs, just pinches, breaks. Like, everybody's on WCB there. It's a hard job. And, the people that do it, like, full-time, I give them 100% props because it's a very hard job, just like oils and oil rigs and all that stuff. But anyways, I went to a sawmill and I took a $20 pay cut to go work at a sawmill because there was promise that I was going to run a little boat. So, hey, I used to be on a tug, now I get to run a boat, which is awesome, right? So I'm not the guy in the rain, I'm the guy driving, and, it's a lot more comfortable, and you get paid more, which is nice. But, I talked to this guy, doesn't matter his name, but anyways, he told me that in a month and a half, hey, this is going to happen, you're going to be on a boat, full shift, blah, blah, blah. And the point of this story is that, 2 months went by, and I never heard from the guy. I had to go see him, and when I went to see him, it was very abrupt, and he was in the mindset of, I need to speak, you're going to listen, and it doesn't matter an opinion. And I told him, hey, look, like, if I don't get to say my story, then there's only one side of the story, and there's always two sides. And if it's just your side, then you think you're right, and you're going to go on making the same mistakes in the rest of your life. So you need to hear other people, whether you like it or not, because we all have a say. We're all humans, and at the end of the day, after the punch clock, you got fucking skin and bones just like me, and we're human beings, and we all, I think, deserve our fair say in life. And, he made me feel quite unappreciated, so you know what I did? Like, I quit. right there and then. It was the first job I've ever quit in my life, but I just got to the point in my life where if you tell me something like that the color's going to be blue in 3 months or 2 months or a year and a half or whatever, it better be blue, because if it's not and it's pink, I'm going to have questions. And if you can't answer those questions, then, there's going to be issues. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is, the boss of a company is just a guy that happens to pay your paycheck. There's lots of jobs out there. People seem to think that it's hard to find a job. It is, depending on how you're looking. If you have connections with people, if you actually make the effort to go on Monster or whatever, or Jobopolis or whatever you go on, you can find a job or at least interviews within a day. And I think it's laziness is the big problem with people. I quit that sawmill job with no job. I had a mortgage, I had car payments, I had everything. I quit, and on Monday I was able to get another job running a boat full time and making double the money. Now, was that God working? Was that karma? Was it some sort of other being or spirituality siding it up? I don't know. All I know is that, you know what, I took a stand for what I believe in, and that is, I call bullshit and I call ace when it's an ace. So if you tell me something, unless you tell me otherwise, like, hey, this stuff's changed or whatever, but he told me, hey, you're at 2 years before you're on a boat. Well, that's not what we originally talked about. So instead of just getting sucked into it, I think people need to realize their potential more than they give themselves credit, because they think that, oh shoot, I'm not going to have a job, I can't do this, I can't do that. You can do this if you need to. And it kind of ties into the chapter thing where, like, hey, it didn't work out, I flipped the chapter, and next day I'm doing 100% better. Because, you know what, we're not getting any younger, and if you're going to work 8 hours, get as much damn money as you can. And I know money's not everything, but it sure helps grease the wheels. For me, like, I want to build a life good enough that when I have a child, that I can give him as good of a childhood as I had, if not better, which is going to be very hard to do, because unfortunately I was spoiled because I was an only child and my dad did quite well. But, my first car, like when I was 16, he offered to buy me, and I said, no, I want it myself. And he said, well, why would you want to spend $16,000 or whatever on your first car? And I said, well, because if I want to change anything on it, I want to do something, I want it to be mine. And if I get into an accident, I want to feel bad that I crashed your money, basically. So, I always got respected for that from my father, because the availability was there, and I know a lot of people don't have that option of having parents that are always there for them, and I'm trying to be sympathetic toward you guys too, because it does happen and it is a reality. But I think if you are able to earn stuff by yourself, it's definitely a more gratifying feeling. Just long story short, I just want people to realize that life is very short. And one thing about Alex was he was the kind of guy who would be in the middle of January and we would go cliff jump, or we would go on a hike to a cliff, and he'd be like, hey, let's go jump off of it. And I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he would just go straight naked and jump off like a 40-foot cliff and jump into the fucking ice water. Like, he was that kind of guy. So you know what, when he died, it made me realize that, he died happy. And I think at the end of the day, that's what you want. Is you want to die happy and true to yourself, and knowing that, hey, I didn't lie to people, I was a good person. And and I am Christian belief, but I don't go to church every Sunday. I swear, I drink, I do smoke pot. It's I think that the Bible is a guideline. It's not a rule book. I think it's a guideline that, if you're a good person and you think well and you don't try to hurt people and you try to bring out the best in people and bring out the best in yourself, that you're going to end up where you need to go. Do I think it's a guy in a cloud sitting just above us? No, because we've been through the clouds and there's nothing but atmosphere. Now, I'm not saying that God isn't real, because I believe in God at 100%. I believe that there's something bigger than me 100%. I also believe that the Bible was printed X amount of years ago, and there's been a lot of technology increases and knowledge increases that have changed the fact of, logic is logic. Like, this is a crystal glass. I can't say it's a plastic glass. I can't say that it's full because it's empty. I can't say it doesn't have ridges because it does. It's physical evidence. there's physical evidence that there's no cloud in the fucking sky above us, but I think he's more in our hearts, and I don't think that God is necessarily just Christian. I think all beliefs believe in a God, whether it be whatever it is. It's I don't know many religions much past mine. Like I know Buddhist and Muslim, and I know like a couple different religions, but I think at the end of the day they all believe in the same thing, that if you're relatively a decent person, you're going to end up where you need to go in the afterlife. Because I think who I am and who you are, I think that's something that doesn't just go away. It's an energy that's always there. That's why there's memories. That's why there's deja vus, because there's energy floating around us all the time. And maybe God is everywhere, but he's just an energy. Getting off religion. I mean, the next topic I want to talk about is just like kind of self-improvement. Like I build a lot of stuff. I make custom headlights. I do this, I do that. I wrap cars. I know how to do carbon fiber work. I know how to build race cars. Like I know how to build guns. I know how to do effects makeup really well. Like I went and I competed against a bunch of people that were actually in the film studio industry, and I ended up winning. And then I was a salesman with about 4 hours of YouTube training. So nothing special, but it was the way I portrayed it. I did the method acting. I actually had the whole face done, and I actually slit my face open and blood everywhere. Like it was well done, and I never thought that I would be able to do that. But I think that if you have someone asked me, is there anything that you can't do? And I said, no, there's nothing I can't do that I'm not interested in. Because if you're interested in something, you can learn anything, and that goes for everybody. Like I want to get my car wrapped because it was like kind of the big thing instead of doing painting. But instead of paying $2,000 or $4,000 to get some guy to do it, I said, hey, you know what? I'll go buy $500 in material. And I'll give it a shot. And I fucked up about 6 times, but you know what? On the 7th time, I got it perfect. Then the 8th time, then the 9th time, 10th time, 30th time. Like it got better, and I think that. Like there's that old saying, don't teach a man, or don't give a man a fish, teach a man to fish. And I like to pass on my knowledge or help people realize that, hey, you can do this. Like there's home improvement projects that maybe women are afraid, women or men, they're afraid to tackle. You know what? You can do it. YouTube has the access to do anything in life. You just gotta actually open up your damn computer and type it in, and take a chance. Like, just. You only got one life, try it out. Like, why spend a bunch of money to do it? And I think that's why I've kind of become a little bit of a jack of all trades, but master of none kind of thing. Like, I know a little bit of everything, but I never went and got a diploma for fucking carbon fiber wrapping, but I know how to do it. It's just something that I'd rather spend $500 and screw it up and then get it right than spend $3,000 and have someone do it, and then when it screws up, I can't fix it. I just think self-improvement is a very important thing, and you know what, we're all not getting younger, and take the time to figure it out. I think that life's all about figuring stuff out and experiences, and it's a crazy world out there. Kind of just ramble on, but I hope you guys at least listen and enjoy. And yeah, I didn't mean to sound too gaudy or whatever. It's just, this is my experience. This is what I've gone through, and this is kind of how I dealt with stuff. The other thing is, like, with relationships, like, you and your girlfriend get in a fight or whatever, I give a 2-week rule, like, hey, if I've done something to piss you off and you're keeping it quiet because you're just an introvert and you don't want to express how you feel yet, or you're trying to figure out how to do it, I give people 2 weeks, because if it's not bothering you after 2 weeks and you haven't told me, I kind of don't want it to be ammunition against me. Now, that's for guys and women. Guys like to bring up the past, so do women, but this is not a sexist conversation, but it's a unisex conversation. But either way, I think that a lot of people in relationships, they hold on to stuff that is really unnecessary. Like, don't focus on the little shit. We all have our flaws. I definitely do. Some people I date definitely have flaws. But I think life's about acceptance and growing with each other and finding someone that you can complement their life instead of complicate it. And I hope that my words help you guys somewhat. By no means am I a therapist or anything, but I have been through a lot of experience, and I just kind of wanted to get it all out there. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say. It's just kind of straight up. So have a good night. It's Halloween here. Go get some candy.